I got a new stamp set to play with, and in this video I just want to share with you what I do when it's a layered stamp. So first of all, I like to take a look at the stamp and really look at its possibilities. This one was gifted to me and it looks like a lot of fun, but I don't actually love the way it's originally intended. So it comes with dies intended to cut the fence and the horses out. I don't like a white edge around things and a layered die for this kind of a scene. I like it to look a little more, just a little more natural, less layered. However, I think that can be fun for certain projects, and I certainly will try it in future. But for right now, I'm playing with what do you do when you want to alter the stamp. So the first thing you do is, if you're going to do layering stamps, you figure out who's on top. In this case, it's the horses. The horses we want up front. So I took some label paper and I stamped the horses onto there and then cut out around the horses. Now, the reason I did this is because this is going to create a mask. And why would I want a mask? Well, watch. I am going to stamp the horses, just the horses. And I know that part of the barn and part of the trees kind of overlaps with it for the most part. So by stamping the horses first and then going in and masking and then doing the other stuff, it's going to allow me to layer in a way that'll work really well for coloring with actually minimal fuss. Cutting that little image out, that's not perfect, by the way. I did not cut out a perfect mask for this. What I'm doing now is just making sure this is clean, because what I'm going to try to do here is stamp with archival ink so it won't react with any of my water reactive mediums that I'm going to be using. And then I'm just using a damp cloth to wipe the edge because I don't really want that edge to show up. Now, if I have a stamp like this that I never, ever, ever want the edge, I can just cut it off. I know that's crazy, but true. So I've stamped my horses, and then once I stamp my horses, we're going to take the mask, and this isn't even the whole stamp. I really just need the heads and necks of these horses to prevent the overlap. And trust me, I've tried to avoid this. It's really not avoidable if you want to do it this way. The good news is it took me less than a minute to cut that out because you really only have to be precise up top. Then the next step, I'm just kind of looking at this stamp and where I think I want it. And I'm also looking at what parts of the stamp I want to stamp. This has upside down horseshoes, which, by the way, an upside down horseshoe is bad luck. So no, I won't be stamping that part. I'll be stamping other parts. Although in some instances I may use that and just kind of flex there on my rules about stamping. But again, we can just avoid that area, stamp all the other areas again with archival ink. And all the mask is going to do is this ink is going to get onto the mask, but then we're going to lift the mask off so that it's as if it never got inked. That's the whole beauty of it. And I absolutely love how easy that is. Now, if I have a more complicated stamp, what I like to do is use my scan and cut to cut around it, or if it's like going to take me a long time, you can make masks on your scan and cut by scanning in the stamp and outlining it, cutting it out. But for this, it was just so small and easy. There's no reason to get into that. So there we go. And yes, I will be saving this because you could use it again and again. And I'm thinking about using this for some holiday tags as well as cards, this stamp. I want to play with it a little bit here. So once we're all done there, it's coloring time. And I really do mean that. You can just color with whatever mediums you want. Distress ink, watercolor, markers, pencils, whatever you like. I've tried a couple different things and I'm still playing with, there's so many options for what colors should the horses be and which greens for the grass. I'm just having a good time. This is my stampy afternoon play. I get about an hour and I just start playing and see what happens. I really like to do it this way. It's just a lot of fun. Now, what I'm showing you here is another masking option. So there are areas, right? I don't like the horseshoes. And then let's say, I think I have the path. There's a pathway under the barn. If you want to stamp and you don't want to avoid where you're putting the ink pad down, then put your mask down on the stamp and watch this. You lift it off. Well, what happens? All the ink lifts off with it. So then when you go to stamp, you guessed it, the areas you didn't want inked are just not going to show up. I hope you've enjoyed this quick little video. When it comes to stamping, I really love playing with my options, testing out my materials, and just letting go and having a good time. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment or shoot me an email. I'll see you next time.